Today I welcome Matt on the show. So first, thanks for having accept my invitation.
Thank you for having me.
So Matt, if you should resume your path in 3 minutes, how you will do that?
First of all, I'm an indie maker. It means that I love creating projects on my own, like alone, without a team usually. And I have a very simple path on how I went from where I was to today. So basically, I was a student, and I loved like coding, web coding. So basically, I started coding when I was 13. And I first learned because I wanted to build stuff for everything related to video games. I love video games and I wanted to build stuff, right? And so I also wanted to like build products, and I had some people in mind and I wanted to be like them. For example, I had Mark Zuckerberg in mind, and I wanted to like build the next Facebook or something similar. And so basically what I wanted to do was either like building projects, so like building a company, or at least working at a big company like Facebook or Google. This was mostly what I wanted to do. And so I wanted to work in the development space. I didn't know what exactly, but like I wanted to code, and yeah, so basically I really had like Mark Zuckerberg in mind, and I wanted to do everything like him. He was a coder, like he was millionaire and stuff. And so that was exactly what I wanted to do. And so I did like a classic path, a French path to go, like to be an engineer. So basically it was like a scientist, baccalaureate in French. And so after that I joined like, an engineering school. And, the thing is, at first, like the engineering school was to work in a big tech company. So that was the goal. That was mostly the goal. I wanted to build a company, but it was like something on the side, right? It was like, if I can do it, then it's great. Otherwise, I will just work at a big tech company. And so the only problem was, that I did my first internship in 2017, and it was a big French company. And the thing is, I didn't really like it. I felt like it wasn't for me. But I think you already know that, right? And so, it was like, I don't know why, because like the team was great, the company was big, everything. And when you say to someone like, hey, I worked at this company, they're like, wow, this is so amazing. But I didn't feel that way, because I don't know why, but I felt like it wasn't for me, right? And so, the problem was I had like three years before graduating, and so starting to work, right? And the only problem was that like the first internship I did in a big company. So basically what I wanted to do, and I felt like it wasn't for me. And so you have like a switch in your mind, like something that breaks, right? Where you say, okay, so what I wanted is not what I like, basically. And so you have this switch where you say, okay, so I had a second thing in mind that was to create my own company, basically. And so in 2017, I started to check on Google, like how to make money, how to build a company, and how to do stuff like that. Like most people, how to make money online, and stuff. And so that's exactly when I discovered e-commerce. And basically I loved it. I love the concept of selling stuff online. Like you don't, like drop shipping too, like you don't own the inventory and stuff like that. And basically that's, exactly why I started in the business. And so I didn't build personally a Shopify store or like an online store or something, like that. But because I was a developer, I started to help people with their website. So like adding stuff. And because I was learning and I was so passionate about it, like I just helped people for free, right? I wasn't even asking for money or stuff. And so, in 2017, I started to help people, and then I had more people coming in asking me for stuff. And so that's exactly when I started to ask for money, because I couldn't help everyone. And then as I was helping people, I noticed that sometimes they wanted the same things. Sometimes, I saw that they were using Shopify apps to do something. And so I just told myself, like, maybe I should build a Shopify app. And so that's exactly how I started to go in the Shopify space. So for the people who don't know what a Shopify app is, and so what Shopify is, basically Shopify is a platform that allows you to basically create an online store without any technical knowledge. So like if you have something in mind that you want to sell, like on Friday, you can build a Shopify store and you can start selling like on Monday. It's like easy to build a Shopify store and to start selling online. And so Shopify's ecosystem is so big that it allows developers and other people to build like stuff on top of Shopify platform. And so you can build features that don't exist on the on Shopify right now. And so you can then sell this feature to all the people, who want to use it basically. And so that's exactly what I did with my first Shopify app in 2017. I grew it, but it failed. I grew it to 1K per month, and like suddenly I wasn't growing anymore and I didn't know why. And I ended up like shutting it down. Then I built 2 other Shopify apps. It didn't work too. And so I stopped until 2020, where I had to do my final internship, before graduation. So it was like, the final run, the final moment. And so I had to build something. And so, I hadn't built like Shopify apps for a month before that. And so I was like here, 2020, like final run. I have to do something because I didn't want to work like in a company, like a regular job or something. And so that was the last moment. I had to build a company. And so I just thought about what were the different things that I knew. And so I knew a lot about e-commerce since I was there for like 3 years. I knew how to build Shopify apps. I had more knowledge in marketing. And so I just said, okay, you know what? Let's just build another Shopify app, but this time let's do everything like properly. And boom, here we are.
That's cool story, man. That's amazing. I love to hear that. And, that make me so many hopes, like, because often like people are like, oh, I need the best idea, and they like brainstorming and trying to do things, like to think for weeks. While I like the way you present that, like you just start to help people for free, and then you saw like you had too much job, then you start to make them pay, but you saw on the way patterns of repetitive tasks, repetitive problems, and then you are like, let's fix the bugs, basically. Exactly. Yeah, and that's so cool because when you do that, it's supernatural. You don't have to invent an idea. It's like, oh, you see the pain, people have it, they pay you to fix it already, so you make a product instead of doing it every time. You produce yourself.
Yeah, that's exactly that. Like basically you have to love the space you're in. So like sometimes people, they want to build something just because they will make money from that. But if you don't love what you're doing, like you will fail, or like it will be too complicated and you will just stop. Basically, like I started for free. I really loved that. So I started for free. It allowed me to have like a network, to have some people to sell to, after I built my Shopify apps. Then, I started to have more people coming in. And so that's exactly when I decided to like, asking for money and stuff. And so if you don't love what you do, basically at the first failure, you will stop, right? Because I failed with one Shopify app. If I didn't like building Shopify apps and I was only there for the money, then I would have just said like, okay, let's just stop and not build another one. But I built another one and it failed, another one and it failed just because I loved it, And so
yeah.
That's the only thing. And then, basically, when people start, they think that they have to find the best idea, like what you have to build, like a 1 billion idea or something, but it doesn't work like that. And as you said, basically you have to understand the people in the space. And once you understand them, it's easier to know what they want. And because like you talk to them, you know how they talk, you know what their needs are, like, and when you know that, like it's easier to know exactly what you have to build because like you truly know them, right?
Yeah.
What they want exactly. So, it becomes easier to build something and make money with that.
I think there are even a very short difference because when you talk about your story, you said like you wanted to work in a big company.
Yeah.
But in fact, you didn't needed that. You see? So when you start to work with people, I think you can see what they need instead of what they want. And then you can give them what they need. Because often if you talk with people about an idea or something, they say, oh yeah, I want that. But they don't fucking care about it. But then if you follow them during the day, you can see what they need and you can give them what they need, and that's make money.
Yes, exactly. Because, and this is a specific skill, where you are able to ask, the right stuff, right? You ask the right questions, because sometimes, exactly, like they will say, I want this, right? And so if you don't know how to ask questions and you just start away working on that, you will end up with a product. They will say, okay, that's great, but then they will never use it. And so instead, if you start, and this is something I love to say, is when you start asking why, and like you ask as many whys as possible, you will go to the real points about what you want and what they really want, like what they truly want inside, what is the need, the pain point and stuff like that. And so the problem is that sometimes they want something, right? They don't even know what they want exactly. Like they just want something, right? And then because they want it, they think that they need something else, right? Or they will say like, I have A, and because I have A, then I know I need B.
Yeah.
But it's not true. Like sometimes when you see yourself, like how, like what is the problem exactly, or why they need that or something, and you go, like you dig deeper into the problem or into what they want, you will notice what is the real need, what is the real problem. And then from that, you can say, okay, but you want that. But I think that if we build this instead, it will help you even more than this thing. And so that's exactly when you can build something that make money. And yeah, this is just a skill where you know, like what are the questions you should ask to find the problem they don't even know they have, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Do you know the book, The Mom Test?
Yeah, I do. Yes.
James
Pajot? I don't know who the author is, but yeah, I do.
Yeah. This book talk about this exactly, how you ask questions, then your mom will not say, oh yeah, it's amazing, do it. It's like, in a way you ask question, like even your mom will fail to lie to you. And to say everything is fine, you can do it, you know? And I really like this concept. And I really think everyone should learn about that, because then it's super easy to have your own mind trap and like self-validating shit, you know, like this is shit, but you ask the wrong question. So you're like, oh, amazing. Good answer. Yes. Perfect. Do it.
Exactly.
Do it. And see you in 3 months when you will understand.
Yeah. And the thing is, sometimes it's not like asking the right questions, but asking the right people, like your questions, basically. Because like if we talk about the mom or even the family, right? You can talk about your idea to your family, but if, for example, they're not your potential customers or like potential users, then I feel like what they will tell you, like, doesn't really matter, because they don't have the real, they don't have the problem. They don't have, they are not like potential customers, because they don't have the problem you want to solve. And so they might help you in some like fields or something, but usually when you talk about your idea, it doesn't matter if they love it. It doesn't matter if they hate it, because they will not be the one using it. And so that's sometimes important, that you have to ask the right questions, but also you have to ask the right people before. And it comes even before that.
That's exactly why you talk about the mom things, is because usually when you don't know how to ask properly, then you can ask anyone and everyone will tell you, oh, that's cool, even they are not concerned. In the mom test, when you learn the right way to ask question, you ask your mom, basically you will ask her problem. So your idea will never come out from this discussion. So you will see this is not your user. Or probably if you continue going to other person and no one find your idea by your question, then it means, your idea is like, you can trash it.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's the point. That's something I want to dig a bit deeper. It's on your path. You said like your first experience in a big startup in France was not like what you wanted. What that make you feel when you start that? Like why it was different between your dream and your reality?
Yeah. So basically it wasn't a startup. Like it was a big company, but it wasn't a startup.
Can you say the name?
I prefer not to, just in case.
Okay.
I think I said it in the first one, but basically, I prefer not to say names and stuff. It's better, to protect yourself and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, so basically, I wanted to work at a big tech company for many reasons, and usually it's because of things that surround you, like movies that you will watch, people that will talk about it. So,
the film of Facebook, I forgot the name.
Definitely, yeah. The Social Network. I watched this movie, and that's mostly why I wanted to build a Facebook-like business, and why I wanted to build, exactly, and why I wanted to work at a big tech company. And, it was also because, you will see many things that, for example, like people working at big tech company, they have like high salary, they earn a lot of money. So there is that.
Yeah, all of a Tesla and blah, blah,
yes,
blah.
exactly. Then you have like other things where you see sometimes, I don't know, like they have a work where it's inspiring. They do amazing stuff because it's like they're, big companies. So you do amazing stuff. And sometimes like you will think about something, you will watch some movies, you will read some stuff, some stories. And when you're a child, you read that stuff, you think it's real life, and then you will make something in your mind, and you will think that it's reality, right? And so then you will start working toward that objective. And as you move towards that objective, and it becomes like, closer to you, basically you start to, like, it's even better, you feel like it's the real goal, like you're close to that goal, it's amazing and something. And once you reach it, and like it's completely different, especially when you wanted to, like, that objective a few years ago. And so during that time, a lot of things evolved, changed.
You update yourself, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so you have that objective, but, it's not something that you want anymore. And you never, like, ask yourself the question, is it still what you want, right? And so when you arrive at this moment where you start working and you see that it's not exactly what you wanted, you thought you were going to work on like some amazing projects, but so like most of the time it's not the case. You feel like you will, I don't know, like you will be able to make decisions, for your own work, and you see that you have to push it to somewhere else, like above you and something.
Big process.
Yes, exactly. And everything is slow, and you start seeing that what you thought about big companies is not the same. And in the contrary, like sometimes you will find all this stuff in like smaller companies, and so basically it's what you thought thinking, and then over the years, like it will change, distort the reality and stuff. And then when you're in the moment and you see it's not like that, I feel like it's really something that breaks. It's like, that's not what I imagined that. Like it's why. And so I don't know exactly how you feel in that moment. But it's like you start thinking that everything you knew about it is wrong. And so you have to think about something else and see how you will figure this out, because what you thought was reality is in fact not. It isn't. So yeah, it's like a big mindset break. I don't know how I can call that, but you have to find something else, and you have to react fast, because like some people, when they see that their objective is not what they wanted, they will just like feel depressed and it's over, right? And what's great about it is that I had a second thing that I wanted to do. So like when I switched to that and I said, okay, let's go full time on this, I had another objective. So it was easy, but I can't think about all the people who are like one objective, like only one, I was only that. And then they go doing it. And when they reach that objective, like they feel like, okay, it's not like that. Then what matters, like now that I don't have that objective, it's not what I wanted. They feel like, so yeah, I can think about them.
Yeah, and you don't have compass here anymore.
Yeah.
One question that brings me is like, why you didn't try in startup? Like, because you had the second goal, but have you think about it or not at all?
Yeah, basically I thought about it, but it was like, the two objectives was like, it was either working at a big company or building my own company. So I didn't have like a between where it's a startup, so it's not a big company, but you start working on your, because it was just the objective at this moment, right? And so I think that if I had failed, building my own company, I would probably go to something that is closer to this objective, which is working at a startup. And so I had a chance basically to not having to do it because, once I graduated, I could directly go into my own company. And so I had the chance. And I think that, probably if I didn't make it and I had to work, I would probably go into a startup or something similar. Like small company, or I don't know, it would be easier, I think.
That's interesting because like if you say if you had failed, you will probably change to the startup path.
Yeah.
But in fact, the first one you launched, you said you failed. So how did you manage to keep your dream going even you failed?
So basically I was still a student, right? I was living at my parents' home. I was still a student, so I didn't have to make money. It was okay to fail as soon as you don't have any things you have to pay for. You don't have a rent. You don't have anything.
It was just learning.
Yes, exactly. So I failed, but, I was still in the competition, basically. Like it was just one failure, but I was still in the competition. So, if I had to work because like I graduated and I didn't want to stay like forever at my parents' home.
Yeah.
Then I would have need to like start getting a job, starting making money or something. And so I think that I would probably, like find a company, like a startup, something to start working with. And so I could make money, right? But then, I don't think that I would like give up on my goals. I would probably like work at the company, right? At a startup and then build my own things like, during the evening or something like that. So
makes sense.
It was a failure, but I was still in the competition. Basically that was that. Like I was in the competition. So I could just continue, keep working on that until like the last day of my graduation.
So your limit in your head was like graduation.
Yes,
until
exactly.
Then
Exactly.
And
what I remember is, my mom wanted me to find a job, during like, my studies. She was like, hey, look at this, person. Like he has a job, he's making money and stuff. So you could buy you some stuff and you could like, it's great to have a job and start making money. And I was like, okay, but if I do it, like I wouldn't have time to work on my own business, And so what's funny is that I told her, like, after many time, like, telling me, you should find a job or something to help you pay for your school and stuff like that. And I was like,
the parents are not pushy at all. Like,
exactly. And so, I just told her, like, okay, you know what? Just give me this, until like my graduation. And, all right, if I can't build my own business and make more money than an engineer, then okay, I will do whatever you want. And so I told her that, and she was like, okay, yeah, no problem. And
Deal.
and I
always
told her,
she doesn't have a choice.
And I always told her, like, I will make more money than an engineer before the end of my studies, and I always told her that, like, when I started, in 2017, and she was always like, I know,
cool.
yeah, exactly. She didn't believe I could do it, right? And so, basically I did that, and before the end of the school, like I was making, like, not more money than an engineer, but I was making enough money to live by myself. And then like a few months later, I was making way more money than an engineer. And so she started to believe, okay, and even that, like, even at this moment, she was still like, maybe you should find like a normal job, like an engineer or something, and it was like, but look at the money I'm making. But she was like, what if it stops and something? Today, it's better. Like, today it's better. It's been like, I don't know, 3 years maybe since I graduated. So it's, she's more like, okay, how much money are you making now? Like, how many employees do you have? Like, it's, we switched to something, say, but it's my mom, so she wants the best for me. She doesn't want me to like lose something and like being depressed because I lost everything. So, it's like normal, but yeah, that's funny how it happened.
Yeah, the normal, pressure of parents, but you made me think like many people don't have maybe this trust, and that make it harder to them to start something. Like I know for me, my parents were like, yeah, you can do whatever you want, but still if you continue study is better, because I had the chance to quit my study and to start my first startup. And then I was like, yeah, with the pressure of my parents, but it was very slight pressure. I was like, okay, I give up on my project now and I will do it later. But I couldn't imagine if I had like a strongest parent, like more heavy on me. That's probably been very hard for most of people to start their own thing.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like, it's part of the skills of an entrepreneur. Like you have to take what you have right now, what are like the, all the problems, what is the risk, what is everything. And then based on that, you can like, take it and like work, with what you have and what you can do basically. So it's a skill. But yeah, I agree. Like basically you have some people with more chance, if I can call it like that. They are lucky because they have some stuff that others don't. And so, for example, like I had the chance to have parents who told me like, okay, you will build it. If it fails, then you can go. So I didn't quit the school. Like my parents wouldn't allow it, no matter what. But in the other end, like, they were paying for everything. Like I was living in their, like at their house. So I didn't have to pay for stuff. I didn't have to pay to eat or something. And so they allow me to work on my projects without having to worry about like paying my rent and stuff like that. So I was lucky for that. And the thing is like many people aren't lucky as me. Some people are even, like maybe are even more lucky. Like sometimes they have rich parents and stuff. And I feel like, we don't start at the same points. We don't start with the same problems and the same chance and stuff. But the only thing is, what can you do with what you have right now? Like, how can you go towards your objectives and like reach them with what you have? So that's the only thing.
That's pretty cool. But that make me realize like often we see the difference of chance about money, about context or the computer you will have. But there are also a different of chance of the mindset context of where you are. If you have a parent very afraid of risk, and a very low risk tolerance, then it will be very hard. I was thinking, I told you like before the beginning of the podcast, I was in India at one point and I saw how much you got pressure from your family. And I'm super impressed from the maker I saw on Twitter, because like from India in general, this pressure is like 10 times or 1,000 times higher. So if you want to go on your own way, like you have to be strong, stronger.
Yeah, that's exactly that. And so basically when it's, your network, basically like all the people around you, that will push you down, or you have to change like the people. Not like, I don't say that you have to say like, bye to your parents or something like that, but it's only that you have to find people, that can surround you and give you this different mindset where you can have like, where people that can push you. And you said something, for example, like people from Twitter, right? So if you're from India and you're on Twitter, you will see all the people building stuff. And so maybe you will find people like you, and it will be easier to push yourself and to do what you need. But I agree, like we're not in the same, like in the same place. We were not born in the same like country and stuff. So we have some, like, we're not lucky.
A lot of context.
Yes, exactly. It's different, obviously. And this is something an entrepreneur will do. Like basically surrounding yourself with people like you and trying to find them, because like I didn't have entrepreneurs in my family, right? Nobody was an entrepreneur. And so, I had to find people who thought like me. People were already entrepreneurs. And so that's why I joined a few communities. I started to meet people who did what I wanted to do. And so that's also something that you have to do. They agree, like in some places it's like more difficult than in some others. And basically that's part of the game, if I can say that.
Yeah. It's the big lottery of the life. Oh, you've won there.
Yeah, exactly.
That happened. But that's very cool, because like that brings me to think like, one of the thing that make me succeed the most, I believe it's the previous podcast, the indie makers, because I've built my own community of makers, like who I was like impressed by. So then I talk with them and I had the chance to interact more with them, have a Discord with other makers. And then because of that, I felt like every day talking mostly with makers. So then it was super easy to switch from my CTO role to a maker role, because then I was more speaking during the day to makers than other people. So pretty easy. And I truly believe in what you said earlier, like, you don't have to push away people and say bye and never talk to your parent, but just like decide to spend most of your time on people like you, who do the same things you want. And then it's naturally you will have the right ecosystem and less space for others, but, it's okay.
Yeah, no, that's exactly like it. It's just a matter of choice. Like sometimes you don't have other choice, but again, it's just thinking about what you can do today, what you have, what you can do with what you have, and then trying to do like maximum of it and trying to push it so you can get it. And you say it's something about like content. So you build content, you meet more people, you increase your number of people in your network and stuff. And so you will have more opportunities, more knowledge, many things. And so that's why you can go from like being like not having nothing and to having like a lot of things. And so, content marketing is something very important to do. Like this is what I suggest people like start talking, even if you don't have a lot of things to say. Like everyone has something to say, right? And so start content marketing when you can, whether it's a podcast, YouTube videos, like Twitter account, LinkedIn, it doesn't matter. Like you just have to talk about what you're doing. And so you will attract people similar to, like with similar mindset. You will build your network and you will attract opportunities. And that's cool in this way.
And just to relate to what we said earlier, that's something very super simple and people have a lot of struggle to see that as a valuable. It's like, what you feel, this is a flow from you. Like, for example, you felt you come from a country where there's no much chance to be an entrepreneur. Use that and do content on that. Then you will meet other people like you. And then you will grow a community from where you are to grow where you want to be. And that's amazing. Because like, if you try to do something constructive and just complaining, I don't think it will go you nowhere. But if you try to show the flow of this and what you can take an advantage and share publicly about it, it will definitely is content. You have already this, you know already all of that, all the problems, you know them. So try to propose solution, try to share also how you can turn the problem, because that's something very valuable. Like I've seen that in France. My company is not in France. My company is in Estonia because I fucking don't like the administrative mess we have in France. And I discovered like this is like the most subject talk, people talking with me, because I did something which is a struggle for a lot of French people and everyone hate that. So just by talking about that publicly on some podcast and everything, I got invited for that, and just coming from one problem, it turned out to a benefit from me. And you can do that a lot in your life, I think. It's just a matter of perspective.
You use your life as content, basically. Just say who you are, where you come from, what have you been going through, everything. And, you have infinite, like, things you can talk about. And even if you think that you don't have something to say, like some people would love to hear your story, what you've gone through and everything. So it's exactly that. And
that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Inception concept. Okay, let's go back to what I have notes about your things. I'm a bit curious about what was the first app and what does it fail?
So the first app was an exit pop-up. So basically the goal was to track what the customers were doing on the Shopify store. And when we see that they don't want to buy, so for example, using the time they spend on the page, if they don't scroll anymore, or if they are about to close the page, we would show them a discount code. So we show a discount code and so they can use it immediately. And so the goal is to say, okay, so you wanted to leave, but now you have the discount code, so you will buy. And so it increases the conversions. And so that was the first app. I wasn't the one coming with the idea because I partnered with two people on that one. I knew nothing about marketing an app. And so I was only the developer there. And the thing is, I learned a lot while doing that. And basically we grew it quickly to 1K per month. So the marketers were selling it to their communities and stuff. And the problem is that we suddenly stopped growing. And we even started to like lose customers and lose users. At that time, like the partners stopped working on it. So I was alone on the project just because they were not making enough money compared to their other products with this app. And since I didn't know anything about marketing, I started to learn about it. And I think two of the biggest mistakes I've made, with this app. First one, I wasn't, tracking my data. It means that I wasn't using any analytics tools, whether it's Google Analytics or Mixpanel that I love.
Yeah.
And second thing is that I wasn't talking to my customers, to the users. Like most of the time, I was here trying to understand what was wrong and like doing some stuff, seeing if it has an impact on the money I was making and the number of people I was getting, like the acquisition, number of new installs. And like nothing worked, right? Everything I tried, nothing worked because I wasn't talking to the people, right? Or maybe not enough. So like I didn't know exactly why they were here, what they liked about the app, what, I needed to change and stuff like that. And then second thing, about tracking my data is that if you don't track your data, it's like you're blind because you don't know exactly in which direction you have to go. Maybe my activation rate was low. It means that the people were installing my app, but they were not using it. So maybe the activation rate was low. Maybe, the conversion rate was low. It means people were using the app, but it missed something that, made them like quit the app and not staying on the app. So the thing is, because I wasn't tracking my data, I didn't know exactly what was wrong. And so I tried, to guess and to make some changes, but I didn't know what was wrong. And so if I was able to, like if I could just track everything, every metrics, every numbers, then maybe I would have seen that, I don't know, like metric A, like activation rate is wrong. So I could say, okay, so if activation rate is wrong, maybe I should understand why. And so that I could like maybe send messages to my users, trying to get them on call, trying to fix this metric in very specific metric. Then I could make some changes and see if the activation rate will change. If it doesn't change, I will try something else. But because I wasn't tracking, I didn't know what was wrong. So I was just trying to say, okay, maybe I should change that. And maybe it did something even worse. And so I didn't know that, right? And so at some point, you start to lose even more people. I tried to increase acquisition, because I thought at the time that the more installs you would get, like the more money you will make, but it doesn't work that way. And so at some point, Shopify changed a few stuff. I changed a few things that I wanted to do and basically I stopped. And that's when I started the second Shopify app. And so I stopped this app and then I built the second Shopify app. And so the two biggest mistakes that I didn't reproduce on the White Bundle, were tracking data, talking to people. These two things were, and this will break many people. Like sometimes it's maybe not the two most important one when you're building a startup, but they are very, very important.
Yeah, I think it's just the next step when you know how to find the right problem to fix or to attack them and start to build on it. The next problem you will have is how you know, like you making good or not, so what you're doing. And just like looking the direction of the wind is not the right answer.
Yeah,
it's definitely data.
Yes.
So yeah.
Exactly.
2 weeks ago, 10 days ago, I started to work on a new project like landingaa.com.
Yeah.
And I directly put it the analytics before we launch it. Like we were ready to launch 2 days before the time we decide to launch. And I was like, okay, now analytics. I want to know where people get lost. And it was pretty clear directly.
This is so important because, as you said, like once you know that there is a problem and that your product can solve it and that you have the first people, so you validated everything, then it's just about iterating. You have something, you understand what metrics is wrong, and then you start to improve it. And if you see that I don't know, like acquisition is low, maybe you can start thinking about how you can increase it. Maybe you will see activation rate. And most of my job today is just trying to improve every metric when I see that it doesn't work. So whether it's churn, activation rate, like conversion rate, and then you just have to figure out ways to improve them. And so it's just about iteration. You change something, you see how it impacts your app, if it impacts the metrics, and then you analyze it, you make a change, and boom, you start again, and you see how it goes.
What tool do you use for doing this analytics? Do you use something in particular, or you build it yourself?
Mixpanel. I love it. I love Mixpanel.
Okay.
Like, this is so amazing because you can track basically everything people are doing on your app. What features they are using, what are the metrics, what is everything. And so we use that, and obviously, so we have the numbers part, and then you have like the chat with the different users. So like, we try to contact them using Crisp inside the dashboard and stuff to have like conversation with the user. But on the analytics parts, Mixpanel is the best way.
It's the best.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense. I did use, I think Mixpanel a long time ago. It was one of the best tool for that, but it was expensive at the time. Now it's better for makers, or still,
I don't know exactly how much we're spending, but what is great about it is that you have like 1 year. You know, they have a plan for startups where you can use it for free for 1 year. So like if you're just starting your business, you can use Mixpanel, and like in 1 year you will start paying. But I don't think it's that expensive.
They are so convinced the product is useful, then
yes, that's exactly that. And I used, when I first built White Bundle, I used this 1 year. And then as you grow, basically you will see that if you really use like Mixpanel properly, you will see that how much you spend doesn't really matter, because it will help you like grow even more, basically. Yeah. But I don't think it's that expensive. I mean, it depends on what you say.
Yeah. It depends what mean expensive to you.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah. Okay, cool for this insights. How did you find the idea of the next project who failed? Because that's the one you started alone this time. Yeah. So
that was that. Basically, the first app, I wasn't the one coming up with the idea, and so the partners knew that this app would work, right? For the other ones, I didn't work that way. And so it was even worse, because I just thought about some ideas like, hey, maybe I should build that. I think it will be a great idea. And then I didn't do the same thing too. Like, I spent a few weeks building it, like maybe 2 months, I think, building it. And at the end, you're like, hey, who needs that? And nobody wants to use it.
No one.
Yes, exactly. And so I remember, because what's funny is that when I first built the app and grew it to 1K per month, I swear I thought I knew how to build a Shopify app and how to grow it. I remember in my mind I was like, I'm a superstar.
I know.
Yes, exactly. I know everything. Like, I'm still a student. I'm making money. I can build a second app. It will be incredible, you know. So I built it, and it didn't work. And so I remember I don't tell myself like, hey, maybe I did things the wrong way. No, I just say, okay, the idea wasn't great. Like, it's just a fail. Like, let's build another one, because it didn't work because that one wasn't great, you know. And so I did the same mistake about something else. I spent weeks working on it, and then I launched it, and finally like, hey, nobody wants it. And so that's when I said, okay, maybe I should stop Shopify apps and let's do something else, you know. And then you start reading a few like blog or stuff, articles. You start like talking to more people. You understand why you failed. And then you start building something else, right? And so I built, like between my third Shopify app and White Bundle, I built a tool for Instagram. So it wasn't a Shopify app. Yeah. And so that time I didn't do the same mistake. So basically I built an MVP first. I knew people wanted it, so I built it. I did a few other mistakes, for example, in the pricing strategy, also in the product, because I chose something that was too big for me, based on my technical knowledge. So it was something else, but I had a few users and I was making money, right? So I didn't do the same mistakes. And then as you go, you say, okay, so that's the strategy, right? You have to do it that way, and then you start like iterating, and then I built White Bundle and just said, okay, let's just use everything I know. Let's build it perfectly. Let's just do everything. And so that's why we grew so quickly.
Yeah, makes sense. You made me think like, I have did the same mistakes as you. And at one point I was like, okay, I will stop to do this, building an idea. I will start from a problem and blah, blah, blah. And I even teach people doing that. I did a hackathon, organized a hackathon doing that. And this winter with my girlfriend, we were like, oh, let's build something for Christmas. And then we did exactly that. Think an idea and launch it, and then 0 user. I was like, again, old friend.
It's funny because I feel like you have to go, like, even if you know it, like, you have to go through that thing where you build an idea to really know that it doesn't work. Even if you know that. And that's why I tell people, like, every time, like, start from a problem. But even that, like, I will have people sending me a message saying, hi, how do you get users? And then, did you start with a problem? No, I didn't. Okay, then that's your problem. Yeah. So you build something for people.
Problem. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's often, you can see like how, like, the entrepreneur is, how many projects he built just when he told you this kind of stuff. When the guy told you like, oh yeah, I'm searching some users. It's like, how did you got the idea? And then he say, because, and then you see like, he didn't talk you about the problem. He told you, because I have that in my mind. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Good chance, bro.
and sometimes that's it. It's, like if you start from a problem, and a real problem, I mean, not a problem that you invented. If you start with a problem, it means you started with a few people with that problem. Otherwise, you can create it. So these people are the first users. Like, they are the first customers, right? And if they're not the first customers, you either didn't start with a problem, or the problem you want to solve is not big enough. Otherwise, like, and it can start with only one person. It's enough. Like, you just need validation. You just need to have something and to prove that your product will solve the problem and that people will buy it, basically. So that's most of the things.
Yeah, totally agree, man. I think sadly, like the first time entrepreneurs are like need that. You can tell how many times you want. They still need to prove themselves, you're wrong. And then are like, maybe this guy was not so stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah. Let's go back, I think, to my main question. I was wanting to ask you, it's like the risk and the benefit of building on top of another platform. Because right now we saw not so long ago, like Twitter changed the rule of the API and then a lot of business died. So are you afraid, like, at one point Shopify will change the rule and you can die or don't have a business anymore?
Yeah, that's something I have in mind, obviously. Otherwise, if I didn't have it in mind, it means I'm either like crazy or I don't know, but I mean, when you build a business, you have to evaluate what are the risks, like what the risks are, and what are like the opportunities. You have to do it, basically. You don't necessarily have to write them, or I don't know, like some, process or something, but you have to know what are the risks and what are the opportunities. And so when you build on top of a platform, there are many opportunities, that you have, like many benefits, right? So, for example, in the case of a Shopify app, you have like the Shopify App Store. So you have like, a free channel that you can use to bring users. You have many things that you don't have to worry about. For example, you don't have to worry about like taxes, how you handle payments and stuff, because Shopify will handle everything for you. You benefit from Shopify Trust, right? Because when people install a Shopify app, usually like in their mind, they are not buying, like an app or something. They are buying a Shopify app. So so something part of Shopify. So we benefit from Shopify Trust. So you have many things, and it's true also for like all the platforms. And so the only problem is that when you build it on top of a platform, like, all the risks are like the platform can shut down your app. Basically, that's only, or they can make a change that will force you to shut down your app. And so that's exactly what happened with Twitter recently. And, you have, when you start a business, you have to know that these are some risks. What you have to think about is like the opportunity worth it? Like, do you want to take the risk because you know that you will earn big? And the second thing is sometimes starting on top of a platform is a great way to start a business, to start in the business. Because as I said,
it's an amazing way.
There are many things that you don't have to worry about. So it's obviously easier to start on that. You can have like free traffic. You have many posts that you don't have to do because like the main platform already built that. But you have to know that in some cases you will, you might lose your business. And then once you know that, what you have to do is that you have to think about the risk and in which situation, they can like happen basically. So for example, Shopify or any other platform shutting down a business doesn't happen like overnight. It's not sometimes it can, but most of the time it's not the reality. So for example, on Shopify, one of the biggest thing we've been, through, not personal, but like Shopify ecosystem was, at the checkout. So basically during the checkout, so all the process where you start paying and stuff for the products, Shopify made a lot of changes. And there were some apps, that were creating a checkout. So they were creating a complete checkout. And so customers, like merchants, instead of going through Shopify's checkout, they could go through like this other app, right? Today, it's not possible anymore to build a secondary checkout. It's not possible because Shopify doesn't allow it. And so they shut down every business, every Shopify app doing that, right? And so some people lost their business because of that. But if you look back and you think twice about it, Shopify was making money, for example. Shopify was making money with the Shopify checkout because they take a percent on all the purchases. And so if you build another checkout, Shopify will lose that money because they won't get any more the percents. So when you think about that, you know that it's not a great idea to build something where Shopify will lose money. At some point they will say something, obviously. Secondly, Shopify never recommended to build something for the checkout. And it's even in the term of service and everything related to the Shopify App Store, because you couldn't publish your Shopify app if you were like a checkout, like an external checkout or something. You couldn't push it to the App Store because your app was immediately rejected. When you know that you shouldn't do it, right? Because when you build on top of platform, you have to respect everything they say, everything they tell you. So, I mean,
you have to be their best friend.
Yes, exactly. I'm not telling you shouldn't do it, right? Because if it's not directly like, forbidden or something and you can build it, then you can do it. Like you can build an external checkout when it was possible. You could do it. But what you have to think about is what are the risks and are you willing to take that risk? You know that Shopify, that building a checkout is not, it's a bit complicated for Shopify. You know it. So it's a bigger risk, even bigger than building another Shopify app. Now, it's about are you willing to take that risk based on the benefits, and the money that you can make or something like that. And so it's true for any platform. So usually what is best is trying to understand in what direction, the platform is going, right? Because if you see the direction, okay, so they are building that, they are going towards that, this is what they made, you can think about what will be the next big thing or what they might change in the future. And so you can start thinking about how you can pivot or change your business or something. Obviously, there are some things that you can't imagine. For example, Twitter being bought by Elon Musk, and so it's changing everything. So this is not something that you could have. I mean, it's a risk. It was a risk, obviously, but it's not like the primary one, right? And so
definitely not.
These are still stuff that it's very complicated, but it was part of the opportunity. It's a risk, that, but you had the opportunity to build it. And without Twitter, your tool that is built on top of Twitter maybe wouldn't exist. And so that's always that. And then what you can do is that once you have that risk and you start building, you can start mitigate the risk. For example, you can start building your app like for many other platforms, or you can build many other apps so that, for example, in the case of Shopify, you can have like many Shopify apps. So if one has to be closed, you have the other ones. And so you can start thinking about how you can like, limitate your risk and do the different things. And as soon as you respect everything.
What's your way to diversify and have low risk now with your project?
For now, we have a second app. So at first, when I first built my first app, so White Bundle, my first Shopify app, the goal was to build 5 Shopify apps. First one, because I wanted to upsell like all the different users.
Yeah.
Second one is because, you can limitate your risk, because if one goes down, then you have 4 other Shopify apps. So today I have 2 Shopify apps. So I still have that. But what I do also is that I will read every single, thing Shopify will say, in which direction they will go. I will follow them on Twitter. I will try to contact like Shopify team to understand am I in the right direction, or am I about to be like, I don't know, will they build something similar to their own platform or something, Yeah. And based on the trends and where you see it going, you can like think about what you can do. And then obviously there are other ways. So for example, there are many risks. For example, there is a risk that they will build something in their own platform. So it will make your app useless. This is one of the risks that you can like limitate by building something that is so good with so many other features that even the native one can compete on Shopify, right? So for example, I have a White Bundle is an app to create bundles. Shopify recently announced a free Shopify app to create bundles. But I know that I will be able to build something that is way better than what Shopify will build. So okay, I will have one more competitor, which is Shopify, right? But I also have I know that I can build something that is even better than what they created. So people will maybe try Shopify app. They will then see that they don't have everything that they want. So they will try my app, right? But, in another case, Shopify released something to translate the Shopify store. If your app was just about translating a Shopify store and you didn't have something else, another value, another features or something, then your app was killed because Shopify released that. But you have to think about it. What happens if Shopify released that? You have to think about it and see how you can react to it. Because if you don't have many features, right? In that case, if I was a Shopify app to translate and I was thinking hey, I see the direction Shopify is going. They are increasing. They want to go worldwide and something. So maybe they will translate it. So that's the first point. And the second one is if they translate everything, what is the value that I will give to the user? I won't have anything new, right? And so that's when you can think about what you can do differently. So it's all about figure out what the risks are, all the different risks for the platform. See how you can limitate that risk. And then thinking about, based on what I know, is it still worth it to build something? In my opinion, I think yes, because Shopify is growing. Shopify has many features that are being built. And if you respect everything and you try to listen, usually you shouldn't have any problem.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes total sense. I truly believe building on the top of another business is the best and the easy way to grow as a first time entrepreneur. Because as you say, there are way less problem to handle. And something I would love first time entrepreneur understand is the problem is not having the good idea. The problem is to be the best person to solve the problem.
Yeah.
And to become this person, it takes time. It takes a lot of learning, lots of mistakes. So if you choose a way there are less mistakes to do, then you have more chance to succeed.
Yeah.
And building on top of something else it's less mistakes to make because there are rules. You don't manage, for example, the payments. You have less marketing to do because it's inside the platform. So you will be just referencing into the platform and stuff like that. Definitely way better than starting on your own, inventing a new project from zero. No one knows.
That's exactly.
Yeah. But everyone go on first time entrepreneur. I will do the next Facebook or next Twitter.
Yeah. I don't know how many people who wanted to build a platform, one of the harder business to to build like a platform, where you have many people or something. So that's very complicated. Start with a simple problem. Pick a simple problem. Resolve it, like fix that problem with the one feature app and go from there. Okay. So maybe in that situation, it's not a 1 billion idea, but you don't care. Like you will start to grow. And as I said, like every 1 billion idea are just small ideas with the best execution possible.
Yeah. And especially I think there are something to relativize now. It's like Facebook and Google, their main businesses is like dying. And more every day they need to diversify, and they diversify because the original business is dying. Like what they did 20 years ago, it's not doable anymore like that. Things change, so don't try to do the fucking next Facebook.
Yeah, they're improving, and then there are many things. So yeah. And basically when you're first time like a business owner or something, building a platform, so, I feel like there are two different, business when you're building like something online. You have like either a tool or you have like a platform. A platform needs many people to work. A tool can be used by only one person. So even if you have one customer, it can be used. Airbnb, for example, it's a platform. If you have only one person on that, it can't work. Same for Facebook, same for Twitter. But if you have a tool, for example, like, I don't know, like Klaviyo, right, to send emails, one person, you can send emails. So that's a business. It's easier to build a tool than to build a platform. Because when you build a platform, you have to think about everything a tool should do. So like the same way, features, problems and stuff. Yeah. But you also have to think about that you need,
pool of users.
Yeah, exactly. A specific amount of users to make it work. And so it's even more complicated. And most people, when they build something, they're like, I'm building a social network, or I'm building a platform that will put X to contact B so they can talk together and something. Yeah. So usually it's so hard. Like start with a simple problem. Like there are many problems. Start with a single one. You start with a small app and you start growing from there.
Definitely a better idea. And you can't know how much it's hard to get people using your tool. Even you target well a real problem. For example, CapGo, I have, this is a fucking problem of everyone building hybrid apps with Ionic. Like you cannot update easily your users. So I build a live update system and I have 50 paying users. Where there are fucking 2 million apps. But the onboarding is complicated on my app, so people drop on the onboarding. They think it will be expensive because since here it was expensive and I make it cheaper, so they don't believe even it's a good solution because I'm cheap. It's like, what the fuck? You have many problems you don't even know. So make it simple for you. Choose something you can sell to one person. It's already easy. And then try to scale, and after a period you can become sustainable.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, cool, man. I think we can go to my final question. I really enjoy this talk again with you.
That was great. That was great.
So I think the first one, about idea, about revenue optimization. Revenue optimization can be interesting. How you do that? Like on your current project, because you're not keeping building project and project and project. I think we said about the analytics tools already. Yeah. Definitely. So how you optimize your revenue? Basically, it's with Mixpanel.
Yeah, trying with Mixpanel to understand what is wrong in the business right now, and then trying to fix them, and to fix all the problems and all the metrics that are still low. You have to understand what you can do. So you take some guesses, sometimes marketing strategies and stuff. And then
tell me the latest big things you find in White Bundle was problematic for your growth.
Oh yeah. So for example, we had a big churn, very high churn. So the churn is, the number of paying people that are leaving each month. And so it was, it's one of the metric that is, we have to improve churn, right? We still have to do it, but, it's already better than 1 year ago, a bit more than 1 year ago. And so what we did is that, churn was high, so we needed to understand why it was high and what we could do about it. So one of the things we thought about was to talk to our users to understand what they didn't like about the app or what was complicated so we could fix it and improve churn. So what we did is that the strategy was we need to get people on call. And to do it, we started to check so we linked Slack and Crisp. So Slack to contact with the team, Crisp to contact our users and our dashboard. And so we did something where when someone logged into the dashboard, we would check how much money they made with White Bundle, when they installed White Bundle and stuff like that. Based on that, we would send a notification automatically to Slack saying, hey, you should talk to the person. Then we would go directly to Crisp, so we can contact this person directly through the live chats. And then we will ask them to make a call. And so we do it with many people so we can get them on call. And then during that call, we can ask them a few questions to understand, as I said, what they didn't find easy to do on the app and stuff like that. So we could then improve all these parts, all these things that they wanted to improve. And then we put them into the app, and we were able to improve churn. So this is something that worked, right? Maybe I didn't do it properly. Maybe it wasn't the best solution. Maybe there are other solutions that are better. But at that moment, this is what we did. We knew that churn was high and that we could improve, our monthly recurring revenue and increase it by reducing the churn. And so then we just thought about what is the solution? What solution can we use to improve it? And we knew that churn, based on what churn is, which is people leaving, it means that they find something makes them leave, right? And so we have to understand what, and so we use this strategy to do it. But there are many ways. Maybe churn, is because, I don't know, they don't see the value of White Bundle, right? And so we could say, okay, maybe if we add analytics part in the app showing exactly how much money they make with White Bundle, they will see the value. Maybe if we send monthly emails with how much money they made with White Bundle, they will see the value, right? This is not something that we do, but I just thought about it. So
I have the same problem as you. I think I don't give the value by email. They forgot my app exists.
That's one of the examples. But basically, you have to think that it's worth it to keep your app when you know the metric. And so then you implement that. You implement your strategy. You see over the month if it improved churn. If it didn't, you can keep it or you can kill it basically. And most of the time it's only that, trying to understand what we can do. And then once you find something that works, for example, when we wanted to increase acquisition, we thought about doing app partnerships, right? And so we started a strategy, we started to implement it. We saw good results. And so we said, okay, let's just implement the strategy over time and put it into our main strategy and do it every time because it worked, right? And so after that, it's only about it. It's only about trying to understand what is wrong, trying to improve it. And then you have many things. Something else that we can improve to is, our pricing strategy. I suck at pricing. And so it's something that I can improve and that we should improve. And so we are working on that. And basically, if you can increase your price, release new plans and stuff like that, you can increase the money you make from each user. And so you can increase your monthly recurring revenue that way. And so basically there are many things that we should improve. And as you improve, you will see you will grow, obviously.
Yeah. That's something I've seen. And for me, it's still very hard to do. It's there are some businesses, they don't care about their pricing. They care about you pay or not. So if you try to leave, they ask you, do you want a 30% discount? And you say no. 3 days after, they send you, do you want 50% discount? And still, if they still have margin, they don't care. If you finally pay back, they are in. And that's something I still struggle to do. I have only one price and I didn't change. I don't do much experiment. And I truly think that can be improved. This
adapting. That can improve how much money you make each month, and also churn based on how you do it. Revenue churn will obviously be different if you have people paying more or less, or keeping on the same thing. And so at the end of the day, it's just thinking about what you can do, trying it, implement it, analyze, and iterate based on the results and try something else. And it's like a loop, and you just have to, and most of the time it's only that, it's not very, like exciting or something. It's just you analyze, you do some action, you analyze, and you start again.
Yeah. You made me think it's definitely an idea or a product I would love to have, like something you plug on top of Stripe, and naturally he experiment for you a lot of pricing based on like the funnel of the user or something.
And maybe it already exists.
Yeah. Let's. I will search after that. Or if you know, on the listener, if someone knows a product doing that, like the experimentation of price for you. Send us, please. Please. Okay, cool. That was very, a good insight on that. I was wondering, like, because you say you don't care about the payment. So do you know when for example, something I do in CapGo, I send an email to everyone who cancel to say, hey, I'm sorry, you didn't like the product or something didn't work well. So, do you have a feedback or something I can improve? And I refund you the next month, the last month. I tell them to try to push them to have feedback, but still don't have a lot of feedback, like probably 1 on 50.
Yeah.
Do you have something like that as well?
Yeah, we do. Basically, when I say like we don't handle payments and stuff, it's because everything is already built on Shopify. Yeah. So like people will install your app, they will automatically accept it, and you will receive the payments at the end of the month, like twice a month. And basically, yeah, because when someone new installs your app, so Shopify will automatically handle canceling payments and stuff. But they will also send a webhook to your app. So like a simple request saying, hey, that user uni installs the app. And so after that, we have a system where we plug it to like Klaviyo to send emails, and so we can send some flows like, hey, you uni installed, here is what we can do for you and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. And do you have a good result with this campaign?
No, we don't. Answering? We don't. Yeah, okay. Like emails are complicated for merchants.
Yeah. In fact, I don't like email much. I don't like when people email me. I spend my life unsubscribing to everything. So I think I'm not good to do email as well because I don't like that.
Yeah. Usually it's that. If you don't even like yourself, like reading emails, or like sending things or receiving, sometimes it's hard to like make a good campaign.
Yeah. Lately, I've used ChatGPT to make all my email a bit funny.
Yeah, that works well.
Funnier because I like that. I like the email a bit like refreshing or different, but still not very, having good results. Okay, man. I think we can go to my last question. What you have wished someone told you before you started?
Start with a problem. I think, there are many things like start with a problem, dare to ask what you want. This is something that we don't hear a lot, but basically sometimes you will make yourself you will stop yourself from doing something because you will think that this person won't accept, or like they will say no or something like that. And sometimes just daring to ask can help you like create opportunities. Start with a problem. And track your data, basically. Because, that was mostly the thing, and it changed everything when I was tracking it.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like daring, it's like so important. Tracking, it's so important. Yeah, 3 of them. Okay, cool, man. So the other one, question for the last question is do you have a favorite quote? Something you like?
Think big, but start small.
That's a good one. Yeah.
That one is incredible. And it's the same. Like sometimes I have people asking me like, how do you get users? And when they ask that is because they're thinking, how do you get like 1,000 users?
Yeah.
When they should just focus on how do you get 1 user? So same thing. Sometimes they will say like, hey, I need to find a $1 billion IG, $1 billion IG, instead of saying, hey, how do I find a problem worth solving? Right. So it's all about start small. Okay, you think big, you will do big things, but first start small.
Yeah.
I love that quote.
Yeah, I totally agree. And lastly, I saw on Twitter a guy is making mobile apps, and he find like he's really good at to build an app in a week and make it sell, and he make like $500 a month with that.
Yeah.
it doesn't know how to do better. Like, and I have the same problem with my apps. Like, I am stuck at 600 something, and I don't know how to do better. So then, instead of trying to, like,
you just build more.
Yeah, you build more, and over time you will also grow your competencies, because it's just a matter of competencies. Maybe you're not targeting well the right people, maybe you're not making well, whatever. There are a lot of things. Maybe just your own mind is blocking you to put the right price. Just do step by step and make the path for you step by step. So it's like the quote says, it's like but start small.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the next person I should invite after you?
Gil. Gil is someone building Shopify apps too. He's incredible because he has like a different mindset as mine, and he's doing things a bit differently. So could be great to have him in the podcast.
Yeah, definitely. You will send me his link after. Okay, perfect. Last question is for you, where we send the people who want to know more about what you're doing.
On Twitter. So Twitter, @DSMATIE. So I share everything on Twitter, my journey, my thoughts, how I created these businesses and, like struggles and stuff.
Okay, perfect. It will be also in the description to be sure people understand it well.
Great.
Perfect. A little word for our listeners. I hope you did enjoy this episode. I totally enjoyed talking with Matt. It's not the first time, and I enjoyed both.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you for that.
Yeah. So if you did enjoy, it's very nice if you could send a tiny message to me or to Matt to say, hey, thanks for the podcast, it was cool. It's always awesome to receive this, and it's also a good start for a conversation about any topic if you want. We are very open, and that's very cool to exchange with other makers. So feel free to do so. And if you like that podcast, you will probably like the next one as well. So I tell you bye-bye and see you next week.
Bye.